Good morning. On behalf of the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders, my colleague Freeholder Kowalski is with us this morning. I want to thank Senator Menendez for holding this forum today, and also thank Union County College and President McMenamin for working with his office to get it all set up. Student debt has truly become a crisis in America that is inhibiting the growth of young Americans. According to the Institute for College Access and Success, 7 in 10 seniors, fully 69% of those students who graduate from public and nonprofit colleges in 2014 had student loan debt, with an average of almost $29,000 per borrower. From 2004 to 2014, though the share of graduates with debt did not increase, the average debt of the graduates almost doubled, twice that the rate of inflation. I'm personally familiar with this problem because both of my adult children are paying off student loans. One who started at a community college before transferring to a 4-year school, just like some of you will. This is not fair to our young people. It hurts your mobility and it hurts our economy. But there is a solution, and our senator and others in the Senate Democratic Caucus are working to put together legislation that will address this, and it's important that we all get behind their efforts. The Freeholder Board is proud to lend our support and get behind the In the Red campaign. Thank you for coming, and now it's my honor to introduce my friend and longtime colleague, Assemblyman Jerry Green, who has been working for the rights of the underprivileged and the middle class for many, many decades here in New Jersey. Assemblyman?
Thank you very much, Chairman Bergen. It just makes me feel so good to be here this morning with you. I come from very humble beginnings. My dad died when I was 4 years old, and I had to struggle when it come down to education. But today I can stand here and be proud to say that opportunities that was given to me were doors that was open to me. I'm hoping that someday it can happen to you. The college president, she has done an awesome job, and I'd like for everyone to take their hat off before I go any further, because nobody calls me, nobody teaches me and show me how important it is to make sure you guys have a future. So we should be honored to have someone that cares so much. The Senator Menendez and I, we served in the Assembly. I'm the longest serving member. I'm also part of leadership. So you have a commitment out of me. I can't promise you the next 22 months, so I'm not going to talk politics today. But trust me, once we get into the front office, one of the number one items on my agenda is making sure when you graduate, you don't have no debt. No different than I had a bill signed just a couple of months ago. If you have a minor offense, when you have paid your debt to society, you have a free record. I think the most important thing is once you graduate, that you don't spend the rest of your life paying off debts. So my commitment today, working with the student body, with the educators and the freeholders, also with Senator Lesniak, who's worked very closely with me with these issues, is that when you are given that a diploma, on the other hand, I want to give you freedom of your debt. Whatever it takes to make that happen, we're going to make it happen. Unfortunately, this day and age, the banks now are basically lending money, 2%, 3%. Although I was getting 2.5% money, now I was told 2 weeks ago it's up to 3%. But my understanding is that students pay a lot more interest on their money. That's not acceptable. So all I'm saying to you, as part of leadership in the Assembly, I will not, and I'll go on record, support anything that's going to cause any more damage to your ability to leave college debt-free. So at this time now, I'd like to introduce Senator Ray Lesniak. I'll talk about my years in government. He has dedicated his years in government. And with the two of us in Trenton, we're going to make a difference because of the fact you deserve an opportunity to be able, once you leave college, not to worry about another 20 years of paying off student loans. Again, I'm so happy to be here with you and look forward to work with you on this particular issue. Senator Lesniak.
Thank you, Jerry. I'm going to stand up. Thank you, Jerry. He deserves a big hand. He's been fighting for many long years. And I want to add my platitudes to what you have here at Union County College. What you have here is the best county college president in the entire state of New Jersey, Dr. McManaman. She's great. Thank you. And I want to go a little bit about my struggle to get through college and law school, because I had to go into the United States Army and take the benefit of the GI Bill. And even with the GI Bill, I had to work full and part-time jobs. You shouldn't have to go into the Army to get a college degree in this country, that's for sure. But what Senator Menendez is doing, and Senator Menendez and I served with each other in the Senate, is to make sure that college is affordable for every single person who wants that opportunity. And I will tell you this, because I've known the senator for decades now. When he latches onto an issue, he delivers. And he doesn't let go until he will deliver for you. So I'm excited to introduce him to you today, because we couldn't have a stronger advocate on behalf of your needs and our children's needs, and to make college affordable and debt-free for everyone than our state senator, Robert Menendez.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. It's good morning, Union County College. It's good to be here with all the owls. Woo-hoo! I thought we were having an intimate round table. When I walked in, I said, oh boy. But this is great. Let me start off by thanking President McManaman for hosting us, and for Union County College for hosting us. It is the first community college in New Jersey, and it has a proud history and an incredibly important future. And that's why I'm so pleased to be here today to rivet our attention and to dramatize with people in real life the challenges we have on this issue. Before I get to that, I certainly want to thank Senator Lesniak, who has been a longtime advocate of public education in our state, in the New Jersey State Legislature. When I served with him, he was a fierce advocate and continues to be so. I appreciate Assemblyman Green's commitment to equality of opportunity for all of our citizens and his passion in that regard. And I appreciate the freeholder chairman. For freeholders, as you may know, are the people who run the county government. Therefore, this county institution has a lot to do with the Board of Freeholders. To Chairman Bergen for his commitment, and I know we have other members of the Freeholder Board here as well, and I salute them all for joining us and for their commitment and resources to a great institution like Union County Community College, and to all of the participants in the roundtable to help us bring to life the consequences of the challenge that we have in making sure that we have the most highly educated generation of Americans the nation has ever known. Why is that important? I see it as important because it is not only the right of each individual to fulfill their God-given potential, but it is a national imperative. The world in which you are living in now is much different than the world in which I grew up. And in this world, the boundaries of mankind have largely been erased in the pursuit of human capital for the delivery of a service or the production of a product. So that an engineer's report is done in India for a fraction of the cost and sent back to the United States. A radiologist's report is created in Northern Ireland and read at your local hospital here at Trinitas. or if you have a problem with your credit card, as I did a while back, because there was some bar charge on it that I've never been to. Although by the size of the bar charge, I wish I had been there because it must have been one heck of a party, but in any event, it wasn't my bar charge. And when I called the credit card company to complain about the charge, I ended up with a call center in South Africa. In the pursuit of human capital for the delivery of a service or the creation of a product, we are globally challenged. And for us to be able to be the continuing global economic leader, and for individuals to be able to see their incomes rise and be able to fulfill their own hopes and dreams and aspirations and those of their families and communities, we need to have the most highly educated generation of Americans that the nation has ever known. We need to be at the apex of the curve of intellect. So there is an economic national imperative here, and there is an individual imperative to fulfill everybody's potential. And for me, this is something that I speak from experience, as some of our colleagues have mentioned in their own lives. My family were political refugees. They came to this country in search of freedom. I had the privilege of being born here, but I grew up poor in a tenement in Union City. I am the first in my family to go to college, but only because individual hard work, yes, but only because of the power of the federal government in Pell Grants and Perkins loans and work study to be able to get through St. Peter's College and then go to Rutgers Law School in Newark. I would not be one of 100 United States senators in a country of 314 million people but for that opportunity, and I want that to be a birthright for every American who has the opportunity, the ability, willing to work hard, and to be able to achieve it. And that's what this program is all about that we are talking about. We need to end the in the red situation that our students find themselves in and create opportunities. So to that effect, let me just, before we call upon our individuals, both individuals and institutions, to talk about what is being done, we have here in New Jersey alone $30 billion in outstanding loan and direct and federal family education loans. $30 billion, New Jersey alone. Now, we cannot be able to achieve both individual progress and collective progress and economic progress when we are saddled with such debt. That's why I have joined with Senator Elizabeth Warren to say, why is it that you can refinance any loan that you take in our nation, but you cannot refinance student loans when there are, in fact, historically low interest rates today, and we want to allow anybody who's already borrowed to be able to do so. We would save billions of dollars for those individuals collectively as a country. We believe that community colleges are a portal of entry to educational opportunity. And they very often are the nexus between helping the private sector develop the workforce that they need, understanding what are the skill sets that you need to get the jobs in the private sector that need that human capital, and that community colleges are well poised to do that and prepare a person to go beyond. That's why, as part of our In the Red program, we and Senator Booker and I have promoted a grant program that provides a 3-to-1 federal match to states that waive community college tuition costs for their students. And we think that is incredibly important, and that then those credits that are obtained at a community college be transferable to a state institution to get a 4-year degree if you decide to go on. And then lastly, Pell is great for those who qualify, and of course that's driven by income, but Pell has not grown at the rate in which it is as meaningful as it was in my life when I got a Pell Grant to be able to go to college. And so we need to index that in a way that creates the growth that is necessary for it to have the buying power that it needs today as it once did. So we believe, taken in the totality, creating community college, free community college education, and putting the federal government's money there to help the state and the county, reducing dramatically the debt for those who have debt today by refinancing at historically low rates. And when you borrowed before, you were locked into that rate. That may have been as high as 10% or more. And today you could refinance at 4%. That's an enormous amount of savings. And not only is that a savings for the individual who ultimately gets lifted up and not having to struggle in the formative years that they are taking their profession and earning money, but it unleashes money into the economy as a whole, and that money creates demands for goods and services and therefore creates jobs. So we believe it's right by the individual and right by our society. And then finally, being able to keep that Pell Grant at an amount that is readable. And then in addition to that, the last thing I'll say as a member of the Senate Finance Committee, which deals with all of our tax policy, we can pay for these things. There is no reason that big oil needs billions of dollars, even with historically lower rates, to continue to do what they achieve nationally. There is no reason that you should be able to put money in an offshore account and avoid paying your fair share of taxes in the United States. There is no reason that the tax code should give you a benefit for taking your company and putting it in some other place in the world. All those things exist in our tax code. And if we eliminate those elements alone, we will have monies to do what is necessary for a national imperative. So that's what we are trying to achieve. Now, not all of my colleagues in the United States Senate or in the House of Representatives have this vision. And that's why we are going throughout the country trying to create and rivet this attention so that the people will ultimately speak to their representatives and demand from them the type of opportunities that we are talking about. And so let me start today's roundtable by introducing your president, Madam President. I like to say that whenever I can these days, you never know. President Margaret McMenamin, who is the president, as I said, of New Jersey's first community college, and she has been doing an exceptional job. I've had the privilege of interfacing with her in the question of higher education in so many different ways. She understands what this college means as a portal of entry to educational opportunity for so many who also will be the first in their family. And she is the chair of the President's Council of New Jersey, council of all of the county colleges. And we thank you for hosting us, and we appreciate your leadership. President McMenamin.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Menendez. Union County College is really delighted, or better said, honored, that you chose our school, our Cranford campus, to host this college affordability session. We welcome you here as our friend, our advocate, and we like to call you the People's Senator because it's Senator Menendez who's in Washington working for us every single day, working for students, working for the middle class, working for working people in New Jersey, and we appreciate everything you do for us. So thank you, Senator Menendez. Union County College is committed to college affordability. It's a key component of our mission, but I don't do it alone. I may be the hood ornament, but what happens here is because of our Board of Trustees, and I want to introduce everyone to the chairman of our Board of Trustees, Mr. Vic Ritchell. Mr. Ritchell. We also have another trustee here, Mrs. Mary Zimmerman, Union County College class of 2001, and a member of our Board of Governors, Mr. Larry Bash. So thank you, Mr. Bash, for joining us here today. We have a great board, and they're the ones who help set the tone for affordability, for excellence, and for opportunity for every single student. We've done a lot of things at Union County College with regard to college affordability. We were the first community college and still the only community college in New Jersey to create a flat rate tuition for full-time students. You take 12 credits, you take 15, you take 18, you pay the same amount. We not only are committed to affordability, we also want to help students get to graduation. We eliminated general fees to our tuition model. We have just straight, transparent tuition, no general fees. We eliminated application fees. We eliminated graduation fees. Can you believe it? We used to charge students to apply to graduate. We want them to graduate, but we made them pay $65 for it. There's a lot of things we do every single day to make college more affordable for students. But we do that in partnership with the Board of Chosen Freeholders. They help fund what we do. And they were the first in New Jersey and among the first in the country to create something called the Freeholder Scholars Program for high-achieving students to be able to come to a county college for free. Long before anybody talked about America's College Promise, it was the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders who created that program. We partner with our leaders in the legislature, in the Assembly, led by Chairman Green, Assemblyman Green, and in the Senate with Senator Lesniak and his colleagues to help support programs like New Jersey STARS, free tuition for the top 15% of students, TAG grants for full and part-time students, and other programs. But fundamentally, Senator Menendez talked about those Pell Grants, Perkins loans, other federal loans and federal work-study programs. We need leaders like the ladies and gentlemen who represent us in those elected offices to help advocate for our students. So it's a point of emphasis for everyone here, from our faculty and staff, administration and board, to our local, county, state, and federal legislators. We want to make sure that no student is ever barred from opportunity for higher ed because of the cost. So our leader in terms of affordability is the newly appointed director of our financial aid office. And every student in the room, you got to get eyes on this guy. He's your helper. He's the one who's going to advocate for you and help get you what you need. The director of the Union County College Financial Aid Office, Mr. Dane Chance. Dane.
Well, I just want to thank you for letting me come to this panel. Again, college affordability is extremely important to me, obviously, because I'm in the financial aid office. But it is extremely important to give students the pathway that they actually need to get to where they need to go. In the past, I did graduate from a community college, and then I went to Rutgers University, and then from Rutgers University, I went to NJIT to actually get my master's degree. So I understand the pathway that students need and the financial affordability that they need to get to where they need to go to actually succeed.
Thank you, Dane. So students in the room, please beware. Find Dane Chance. He's in the first floor of McDonald Hall. He and his staff are here to help ensure that you get every bit of federal financial aid, local, state. And one more thing, we have the director of our foundation here, Mr. Doug Rouse. This year, Union County College Foundation will give out nearly $1 million in private scholarships for students. So all of that can be accessed through Dane Chance. You know, I mentioned our Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders, and it's led by Chairman Bruce Bergen, but we're thrilled today that we have a second freeholder in the room with us, and she is a resident of Cranford. We like to call her our freeholder, and she is Freeholder B.J. Kowalski. Freeholder Kowalski, our friend here in Cranford.
Thank you, President McMenamin, and thank you for your leadership. And evidently, Mr. Chance is the money man here at Union County College. So we just want to have you have the resources that you can help these students with. So thank you for being here. Let me introduce Micheline Farrak. She is the first in her family to attend college. She is a mother of two. She is a current assistant professor at Bergen County Community College. And she joined me in Washington, D.C. as we were having a national roundtable by Senate Democrats to press this issue and some of the programs that I mentioned before. And her story was so riveting. She has over $170,000 between her and her husband in student loans at the same time that she is trying to raise a family. And so I was so struck by her story there that I asked her to join us here today, and I thank you, Professor, for joining us.
First and foremost, I want to thank Senator Menendez for inviting me again to publicly speak about something I'm extremely passionate, which is the student loan crisis and the student loan debt. I also want to thank Union County College, the president, and everybody that was introduced prior for also giving me this opportunity. I will quickly tell you my story, and my story will connect with you guys in the audience mostly. I am first generation immigrant from Venezuela. My parents are actually Lebanese. They left Lebanon to escape a war, went to Venezuela, built up a good business from scratch, left it all because they wanted their daughters to be educated, and they knew the United States had the best educational system in the world. So they gave up all their riches and started out with zero money when they came to the US. My parents worked very hard to put a roof over our head, to be able to feed us and give us our basic needs. But my father said that we wouldn't have enough money to pay for education. But education is important. He said the education is a key, and it's a key that unlocks every opportunity. He said a highly educated person is respected. A highly educated person can stand on their own 2 feet. A highly educated person cannot be fooled. Right? And so all he ever wanted was for my sister and I, and subsequently my brother and my sister, to become educated. When it was time for me to go to college, I started at Middlesex Community College. So I am a graduate of a community college. I did receive federal funding to go to school for free for 2 years, and I was very fortunate to do that. I ended up transferring to Seton Hall University for 2 years, graduated magna cum laude, and transferred to John Jay College of Criminal Justice for 2 years. And I'm very proud of my journey because when people hear I'm a criminal justice professor from John Jay, that's pretty impressive, correct? So I was very fortunate. However, I had to take out a lot of loans. I did get grants and I did get scholarships, and because my sister had surpassed the 2-year mark for county colleges, both myself and her TAG and Pell Grants got cut because my parents technically made too much. And so I was forced to take out federal loans. I was forced to take out private loans. My private loan was at 9%. Right, my federal loans were at, I think, 6%. I've gotten them down now to 4%. So hopefully we can talk about refinancing more and more. And the other half of my debt comes from my husband. My husband grew up in Northeast Philadelphia, which is known as the Olney area. It's a highly impoverished, high crime rate area in Philly. And like my family, his family worked very hard to put a roof over their head. He ended up going to Drexel University to get his MBA, and that's how we ended up with $170,000. That's a lot for 2 people. I have friends that only one spouse debt is $135,000. She did 4 years at Rutgers, 2 years at a graduate program, and ended up with $135,000. That's atrocious, okay? And that, unfortunately, is some of your futures right now. College is not affordable anymore. I have students that are paying Bergen tuition, which is about $2,500, who are taking out loans, who are taking out bank loans at 18%. I mean, you talk about federal loans at 4%, 6%, 7%, and then the banks are coming in and saying, well, we'll charge you 18% for a loan. I fear for my students. The reason I offer my story, and I do have 2 kids, as Senator Menendez stated. They're 2 and 1. Prayers are always welcome. You know, and daycare is expensive. So how does someone like me afford a home? How does someone like me afford to move into a bigger home or even spend more that helps generate our economy? Simple statement, it doesn't. You know, I am fortunate enough to have a home. It's small, it's not very big, and we're okay with that. But we do aspire to provide more for our children. And so the reason I tell my story is not because I'm asking people to give me money, as some critics may say. If I wanted that, I'd start a GoFundMe account, right? That would be great. I tell my story as a cautionary tale, as a voice of people like myself who is the embodiment of what's gone wrong in America. We played by the rules. We went to school, we got good grades, we graduated with honors, we went into the workforce, we pay our taxes, and yet we're being punished, right? We're being punished for being good Americans. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. For me, I feel that if we don't do something about the student loan debt crisis, if we don't do something about the grant funding, eventually we will have a society of the have and the have-nots, where individuals who are from the lower class, who are aspiring to make it into the middle class, don't have a place to go. Because how can you climb and become more advanced if you don't have the money to do so, that you're constantly struggling to make ends meet? I've struggled to make ends meet. I forfeited 2 maternity leaves so I can be able to pay bills. Right? Imagine you just had your child and you're greeting students online for your online classes. You know? I haven't been able to spend time with my kids the way that I should have, that I should have the right to in terms of being a parent. I can't help my family. So here's my point. My point is that the interest rates have to change. Okay? If I'm being offered a 2.5 interest rate for my mortgage, why am I not being offered a 2.5 interest rate for my student loans? The federal grant system has to change. People are not graduating in 2 years. People are not graduating in 4 years because you're trying to save up money to make ends meet. So why are we only limiting people to 2 years? Or why is the income base still where it is? Okay, it's not 15 years ago. $50,000 income isn't going to take people very far, especially a family of 2. Okay, incentive-based programs. Invest in our students. Invest in, get businesses to invest in them. If you have a business who's willing to pay the tuition for a student and then give them an internship program, that's actually beneficial for the business itself. I'm so sorry. I'm very passionate about this subject, unfortunately. It gets me extremely upset knowing that we're telling you guys to go to college, but here's the trick. Where are the jobs at the end? Right? Where's the money for you to be able to afford a car or to get out of your financial situation? Where's the money to help your parents retire? It's not there, and that's extremely upsetting to me because we're telling you to pay all this money to go to school, and there's nothing at the end for you guys. And that in and of itself, I think is unfair, and I think that every student in here should petition to senators like Senator Menendez and other people and call for action to stop punishing us for wanting to be highly educated. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Micheline, for sharing your story. Let me introduce Megan Nanama, who currently resides in North Arlington. She is pursuing a career in dance education at Montclair State University. She plans to graduate this May. So congratulations. And she advocates for the needs of college students with the New Jersey Student Education Association. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to thank Senator Menendez for always standing up for New Jersey students and bringing our voices to Washington. So, my name is Megan Namnama. I am an ambassador with the New Jersey Student Education Association, which is the pre-service arm of NJEA. So, the role my teachers played in my life inspired me to pursue a career in the greatest profession of all, teaching. I decided to pursue my career in dance education because sharing my love of dance is my passion. This spring, as the senator said, I will be graduating with honors from Montclair State University. My brother recently finished his studies at Bergen Community College and plans to attend a New Jersey university this fall to complete his bachelor's degree. My sister will be graduating from North Arlington High School this fall and plans to also attend a New Jersey university this fall. My mom, a single mother of 3, could easily tell you how much of a burden college affordability can play on a family, but she doesn't have to, because clearly between just this room, we all understand that story all too well. Imagine taking 23 credits and working 2 jobs because it's cheaper to pay for credit overload than it is to pay for an extra semester of learning. That was me my junior year. As a result of the rising costs of tuition, I have worked several jobs while attending college. Even though I was a full-time student, I had no choice but to work 1, if not 2 jobs at a time to assist with payments surrounding my tuition. It breaks my heart to say that as a result of student debt, fewer college students are pursuing a career in education. Many future educators fear that they will be drowned out of the profession. In a recent survey, the average debt of an NJSEA member is over $40,000 before they even step into the classroom with full-time employment. And let me remind you that NJSEA is over 1,000 members strong. They will not be able to afford their monthly payments, resources for their classroom, for their students, or avoid taking a second job. How do we expect our brightest students to attend college when we know that student debt is inevitable, and the second they walk across that graduation stage, they, like so many others, must begin paying back their student loans? It is our responsibility to invest in programs and legislation, such as the In the Red campaign, to assist with the heavy burden of student debt. We cannot and should not expect our college universities to thrive unless we make college affordable and degrees achievable. The issue of student debt is a monumental task that we all need to come together to solve. Every child must be provided with the opportunity to achieve his or her goal. Our future lies in the hands of our students that we teach. If we do not begin to make college affordable and student loans repayable, our future is at risk. As a result of my studies at Montclair, I feel extremely prepared to share my expert knowledge of dance education with students whom I will encourage to pursue a career that they also love. My hope is that all students can graduate college with the same enthusiasm, but not with the same payment obligations as all of us. I hope that all of our stories resonate with you who don't think it's possible, and I encourage all of you to share your stories so that students do not lose sight of their dreams and of their futures. I truly believe that if we continue to work together, we can tackle the burden of student debt. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Megan. And now I want to introduce one of your fellow students, Cassandra Warnock. She is a member of the UCC Honors Program, and she is graduating from Union County College and planning to go on to finish her BA degree. So, Cassandra, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Senator. And thank you, everyone, for allowing me the opportunity to speak today and share my personal story about college debt. When I first graduated from high school, I was really excited about all the opportunities that potentially awaited me. One of them, going to college. I had my heart set at first on attending Seton Hall University. Now, Seton Hall charges roughly $33,000 per year, and that is not something I could easily just pull out of my pocket and hand over. So when I applied, they did offer me a scholarship and told me that $20,000 a year was actually a great deal, and that $80,000 in accumulated student loan debt would be paid off in no time. However, I'm sure many of us know from talking to our parents, advisors, and professors that student loan debt is not paid off in a year or even two. There are many people well into their 40s still struggling to pay off student loans that they took out when they were 18, 19 years old. And that kind of future is scary. Still, I thought that it was the only way I could go to college, that I had to take out these loans. So I decided to go there anyway. However, this turned out to be a bit of a saving grace for me. My loans got denied, and I was told I would no longer be able to attend Seton Hall. Lucky for me, it was still August, and I did not have to pay the full tuition. I just couldn't get the money back for the deposit, and that was fine. But I was worried at that point, how am I going to go to college? What am I going to do? My family, when I was living with my mom, we were on welfare. So we did not have the money to just spend on a four-year school. So after moving to Union, I took the trip to Union County College and found out that because of my GPA and the fact that I graduated in the top 15% of my high school, I could go here for almost free thanks to the NJ Star Scholarship. Now, if it was not for that scholarship, I would not be here at all. I would not be in college. I would have to be like many people struggling to work and try to pay, whether that meant coming to school in the fall and taking off the spring to pay for the next fall, or working 40, 50 hours a week just to afford to pay the $2,000 tuition of a community college. And still, that's scary. How can we expect our graduation rates to increase when people have to work that many hours or take semesters off in order to graduate, to get their degree? It makes the future seem almost bleak when it comes to college graduation. And we have to focus on lowering tuition, making student loans more affordable so that more of us do have the opportunity to graduate. Because there are scholarships there, but eventually they're going to get even more competitive the more people start realizing that community college is more affordable and a more efficient way of going about it. And once that happens, we're going to have more students coming here and then transferring, and then what? The tuition at the four-year institutes are still going to be skyrocketing, and we're still going to have to apply for those loans. So it makes me very happy to see that there is an initiative being done to make these loans more affordable and to allow us all to have a better opportunity in the future, not just for us, but for future generations to come. So I'd like to thank the Senator and everyone for allowing me to speak again, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Our final speakers are from Rutgers University Camden, and it's similar to what President McMenamin said about things that are being done here in Union with the freeholders' assistance and then also the private sector in the foundation. How is it that we can make it more affordable under the present system? And Rutgers has a program that I thought is worthy of speaking to. So Mike Stepanek and Dr. Craig Westman have implemented something called Bridging the Gap. This program is an example of how higher education establishments can work with potential students to keep college affordable and increase access to higher education. We welcome them today and look forward to hearing about the program.
Thank you, Senator, and thank you so much for including Rutgers Camden in this, and Dr. McMenamin, thank you for hosting this today. We've heard a lot about student loans and the crisis that student loan debt is causing for all of us right now, and that's true. At Rutgers University in Camden, this Bridging the Gap program that we've come up with is designed to try to eliminate student loans or the need for student loans as much as possible. The stories we've just heard today of what's going on here at Union County College and across North Jersey, these are the same stories that we're hearing at county colleges and at Rutgers University in Camden in South Jersey. It's true wherever you go. At Rutgers Camden, we're 90% a commuter campus. Our students are working full-time in many cases while they're going to school, trying to go to school full-time. They're juggling family commitments. Many of our students are first-generation college students within their families. Like Micheline, our students are playing by the rules. They're doing what all of you are doing. You're all doing the right thing, and you're doing your best to reach your goal and your American dream. And what we created Bridging the Gap as a mechanism to try to help our students get to that American dream. My colleague, Craig Westman, he's the guy who built Bridging the Gap, and he's going to talk a lot about where the numbers come from and how it actually works. But I'd like to offer you a little bit of context. So we're talking about a universal issue across our nation when it comes to student loan debt. There may not be one magic answer that suits all institutions and all individual students. At Rutgers Camden, our size is a reason why we think this program is going to work. We launched the program in October. We're just now recruiting our first class of students under this program. Craig will talk about how we think things are going positively. But at Rutgers Camden, we've got the capacity to take in more students. This program simply might not be scalable for a larger institution. It works because it's helping us to attract good students who are receiving financial support from federal Pell Grants and from state TAG grants. And so, Senator, the federal government and the state government, Senator Lesniak and Assemblyman Green, you are our partners in this project as much as Rutgers has skin in the game. We thank you all for your leadership in this matter. I'm going to turn the microphone over to my colleague Craig, and he'll tell you how it actually works.
Thank you. Just one comment. I just want to say that I am a first-generation college student. My mother worked and waited tables to support my brother and I, so we come from very modest means, and it was only because of Pell and getting work study and also working additional jobs that I was able to get through along with student loans. And so having that background and being an advocate on our campus, our chancellor, she wanted to do something different to help our students that were largely low-income, first-generation students from working-class families. And so out of that came Bridging the Gap, that we begin to look at our incoming class, as Mike Stepanek had said, which is roughly about 400 students that we get every fall. So as Mike said, it's a small group, but we wanted to have the biggest impact we could on that group. And our data, we went to our data to look to see who they were. So as Mike said, 91% of these students are commuters. So we knew that we wanted to create a program that hit the tuition and fees for these students, where they had to take the loans out to cover these costs. And so looking at the data, we realized that coming up with a program that after federal and state aid was applied, that for families between $0 and $60,000, the Bridging the Gap program would come in and pick up the difference that remained in those tuition and fees. And between $60,001 and $100,000, the program would come in and pick up 50% of what remained in that difference of tuition and fees to help these students coming in. What we discovered was when we started modeling it, and another quick caveat on this is many financial aid programs look at a thing called expected family contribution. It is part of the formula the federal government uses to say, here's how much you as a family need to contribute. Knowing that we had working class families and some of the struggles there, especially when you own a business, you might own a farm or something like that, is typically those businesses become a detriment to you. They become an asset in your calculation of your aid. And we decided not to look at that. We decided to look at the adjusted gross income of families. And the reason that was important was you may have a business or a farm that you have that you're living off of. So your adjusted gross income may only be $30,000, but your EFC may be very high because you're living off the business, that asset, whatever it might be. And so we discovered quickly that we could help more students by looking at that adjusted gross income that a family is actually living off of, which was important, that they actually live off of. And so what we discovered was it would impact 67% of our incoming freshmen with this program because of the nature of who we work with in the Camden community. And that was huge. And so looking at that, we realized and costing it out that we could actually reduce the loan burden on our students, which, as was mentioned by our freeholder here, that it is considerable, the chairman, that our students were saddled with that as well. So as Mike Sapanik said, the first incoming class is this fall. It's a pilot program. We'll see how it goes, and it is truly a partnership between the federal government, the state, and Rutgers-Camden. And so we hope to be able to scale that as we move forward and to see. It has been impactful, just to let you know. Just from our applications, we're up about 17%. Our admitted students were up about 15%. And the important part is, and this is the key, is the students who have told us that they're coming, we're up over 90%. We knew from our data from the clearinghouse that many of the students did not attend because of the cost of attendance. And Rutgers-Camden is known as a very affordable educational institution in South Jersey. Washington Monthly calls us the best bang for the buck. So we didn't want to rest on those laurels, and our chancellor pushed this program forward to say, no, let's see what we can really do to help alleviate the burdens of going to college and making it affordable. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. So I take away from this several facts and some numbers. $30 billion, how much in New Jersey alone between public and private loan debt there is. Imagine unlocking $30 billion in our economy by having that dramatically reduced by refinancing. For the individual, tremendous lift of burden. For the economy, a tremendous opportunity for growth. I listened to Micheline's reality of $170,000 with 2 children that she is trying to raise, and the challenges of trying to pay that debt as you take care of your children and provide for your family. And so we put extra pressures and stresses on families as we are trying to nurture the very essence of family. I listened to Megan's comment on behalf of the association that on average of all of those members, they walk away with individually $40,000 worth of debt. And $40,000 takes time to pay off because it depends what type of jobs are we producing in this economy that will pay an individual significantly so that they can pay their debt but also live their lives and contribute to the overall well-being. And then lastly, when I listened to Cassandra's story of almost a dream deferred, but for the power of a community college to offer her the portal to educational opportunity, and then she can take it on. Without that, Cassandra, an honor student, would not be able to show her God-given capabilities. So this is what our In the Red program is all about. It's about getting out of the red. It's about getting in the black. It is about, you know, I always remember that passage, what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or does it explode? We want it to explode with opportunity. We want it to explode with opportunity for the individual. We want it to explode with opportunity for our communities. We want it to explode with opportunity for the nation to continue to be the global economic leader. We have a moral imperative on behalf of each individual to help them fulfill their God-given potential, and we have a national imperative to make sure that we can continue to be the global economic leader, meet our challenges at home and abroad, and that is only going to come from the most highly educated generation of Americans the nation has ever known. So I ask you all to reach out to your member of Congress. I don't know exactly where you all live, but not everybody agrees with us, even in our own state delegation, about these initiatives. And I believe very strongly what Adlai Stevenson, a great United States Senator, used to say, when I get the heat at home, I see the light in Washington. So we need to generate a lot of heat so we can get a lot of light, and so we can have not a dream deferred, but an explosion of great opportunity. Thank you very much for having you.